Okay, so Harriet Jacobs as a Christianized person. Okay, so the second thing that caught my attention about her monologue is that she emphasizes that a lot about life is the same, and so her character to a contemporary mindset, something influenced by a contemporary film, is she someone we would think of who is college, or is she someone who perceivably has the intellect and the drive and the capacity to be a more productive member of society, but due to her socio-cultural circumstance, having started with her specific master, she always has to be seen as not as prestigious in some way. You get that feeling about her, that prestige is important to her. So anyway, talking about her as a Christianized writer, I think one, she's very upset about the idea that she's supposed to marry someone who's also a slave. So from thinking about that from a biblical perspective, if you look at prophetic books, if people are poor, then they deal with many of their problems and psychological maladies with drugs. That's the reality of life, right? Yes, there's good in the world. Poor people are as good as anybody can be, but from a biblical standpoint, we'll say, a poor person didn't afford $500 in paint to start a side career, and wasn't able to then sell the paintings for thousands of dollars, right? They were able to go to the store and have a beer and a cigarette. So from that standpoint, it's a claim that she's supposed to stay with and better poor men, when she's someone who says that's wrong. They're poor and they need more. So that, I think, about her stood out. Like why is she so, who cares? And then secondly, she's also somewhat of a gossipy person in some of her stuff. She really needs to talk about marriages, like the master's daughter marrying the meanest slave, So that very much about her struck me as someone who's definitely a Christianized individual, and someone who really did feel herself an equal to, counterparts in society that were privileged. They weren't being called people who should have to be dependent on as a domestic labor, basically. So there's that, and then she also says at some point that she's